What is up, YouTube? This is the sixth episode of the Fast Break Sports Podcast. I'm your host, Sam Gotzi. And in a returning segment of this podcast is Obscure Player of the Episode. Last episode, Obscure Player was Roy Hibbert, most notably the center of the Pacers when Paul George was on it. So the hints for today's obscure player of the episode is he was he's a center, 7'3". Um, he was drafted in 1996 by the Cleveland Cavaliers. He played from 93 to 2011. The number he wore all his career was number 11. From 93 to 96, he played in overseas with Atletas Kaunas. And then from 96 to 2010, he was a Cleveland Cavalier. And from 2010 to 2011, he was on the Miami Heat. He's actually a two-time NBA All-Star in 2000, 2005, NBA rookie first team in 98, and his number 11 is actually retired by the Cleveland Cavaliers. As for his career statistics, he averaged about 13 points a game, 7.3 rebounds, and about 1.6 blocks per game. So if you have any guesses, tweet at me. I'll have my Twitter in the link below, or comment on this video and let me know your guesses for the obscure player of the episode. And on today's episode, we'll be discussing the new G League team, the GLeague Ignite. For those of you who don't know, this new Ignite team is another avenue for high school players, elite high school players, to go a different route beyond the NCAA and have a direct implication to the NBA. Some of the players on the team are incoming rookies for this upcoming draft or veterans. So some of the notable names on the team are Jalen Green, who was the number one or two prospect, depending on what recruiting database you saw. Jonathan Kuminga, who is actually part of next year's class, but reclassified to this year's to join the Ignite. Dacian Nix, who is in the top 50 of the ESPN recruiting database. Principal Singh, who is the first international player on the Ignite. He is from the NBA Academy in India. Kai Soto, and he plays for Philippines national team, and Isaiah Todd, who was committed to Michigan but decommitted and joined the Ignite. Some of the notable veterans on the team are Bobby Brown, who most recently in the NBA played for the Houston Rockets in the late 2000s, but he had a very successful overseas career. Jared Jack, who played for the Knicks as well as the Nets and the Cavaliers, and Amir Johnson, who's most notably played for the Raptors. So they're about 6 games in the season. They have a record of 4-2, with their 2 most recent games being losses. But they average around 104 points per game, shooting 45% from the field, 30% from the three, 67 from the line, 49 rebounds per game, and 22.2 assists. Now I'm going to go into a little bit of their individual stats. So first off, Jalen Green, he's the most notable person on this team. He's 6'6" shooting guard, age 19, he is averaging 17.6 points a game, 4.6 rebounds, and 2.4 assists. So he's been playing really well, actually. I've watched almost every game, and he is definitely proving himself to be a top 3 draft pick with Jalen Suggs as well as Cade Cunningham and Evan Mobley. Those are kind of the top guys right now. Next, I'm going to talk about Jonathan Kuminga, who is actually only 18 because he reclassified, but he's a 6'6 small forward, 210 pounds, and he's actually from the Republic of Congo, actually. So he is actually averaging 18.8 points, 7.6 rebounds, 3.2 assists. He's also been playing well. I would not be surprised if he's a lottery pick next year. He's been just playing really well. He's kind of been the leader of the young guys on the GLeague Ignite team. Next, I'm going to talk about a guy who I honestly didn't really know a whole lot about. He was kind of a surprise when he decided to decommit from UCLA and join the Ignite because he was actually from Alaska is where he comes from, but he's a 6'5", 224 point guard. He is averaging 11.6 points, 6 rebounds, 4.6 assists. He's one of those guys like I said previously mentioned that I didn't know about, but he is competing with Jalen Green, Jared Jack, etc., and he's holding his own. So I've been really impressed with Dacian Nix as well. All these guys I've been very impressed with. Now Isaiah Todd, while his numbers don't really show it, but he's a hustle player on the court. He's a 6'10 forward that weighs 210, and he actually decommitted from Michigan, like previously stated. But he is averaging 8.6 points per game, 4.4 assists, or 4.4 rebounds, and 0.6 assists while playing 22 minutes. So while his numbers don't say a whole lot, he has been playing very well, actually, for the Ignite team. Now, one of the vets who has been playing really well and kind of proving he belongs in the NBA still is Jared Jack. He's actually 37, 6'3 guard. He's averaging about 11.2 points, 3.7 rebounds, and 5.5 assists. So not only is he kind of being a mentor for guys like Dacian Nix and Jalen Green, but he's also proving that he could potentially gain a spot, more likely as a veteran mentor role on an NBA team. Now, you might be asking, what about Principal Singh and Kai Soto? So Principal Singh, Brian Shaw has said he's one of the highest has the highest work ethic. He's not at the G League level yet, so he's more of a project player, which is kind of how everyone predicted it to be. And then Kai Soto is actually playing for the Philippines national team and opted out for the first couple games of the G League season. Now I want to talk about just the specific games they have played. The debut of GLeague Ignite was against the Santa Cruz Warriors, the G League affiliate of the Golden State Warriors. And the GLeague Ignite ended up winning this game 109 to 104, actually. The Ignite's elite young core combined for 44 points, led by Kuminga's 19 points, 4 assists, and 2 rebounds. Dacian Nix at 12. points, 3 rebounds, and 3 assists. And Jalen Green scored 9 of his 11 points in the second half and finished with 5 rebounds and 2 assists. This was one of Jared Jack's best game in which he scored 23. A couple of notable names on the Santa Cruz Warriors was Nico Mannion, who played for Arizona a couple of years ago. He scored 17 points. Jordan Poole, who played for Michigan a couple of years ago, led Santa Cruz with 22 points. And Jeremy Lin added 18 points to the Santa Cruz Warriors. The Ignite actually led by as many as 20 points in the second half, but with a minute 41, it was 103 to 100. So that's just a brief recap of their win against the Santa Cruz Warriors. Now I will be talking about their game against Oklahoma City Blue. So in this second game, the GLeague Ignite won against the Oklahoma City Blue 109 to 103. Kuminga had another fantastic game with 24 points, 4 assists, and 6 rebounds. Jalen Green played very well in comparison to his game against the Santa Cruz Warriors. He finished with 21 points, 1 block, 1 steal, 5 rebounds, but 0 assists. Jared Jack had a great game as well, 16 points, 9 assists, and 2 rebounds. Off the bench, Isaiah Todd had 12 points, 7 rebounds, 1 assist, and 1 steal. He didn't play too well. He struggled a little bit, shot 0 for 3, but he still had 5 assists and 3 rebounds. But overall, a great win for the Ignite in their second game. Some of the notable names for the Oklahoma City Blue are Xavier Simpson, who played with previously mentioned Jordan Poole on Michigan a couple years ago, and Ty Jerome, who played at Virginia when they were 1 seed, I believe. So that's another Ignite victory. Next, they played the Raptors 905. Obviously, by the name, you can tell is the Toronto Raptors G League affiliate. So against the Raptors 905, the G League Ignite ended up winning 113 to 105. Kuminga had another stellar game with 23 points, 13 rebounds, and 1 assist. Jalen Green had another fantastic game as well, 21 points, 3 rebounds, and 1 assist. Jared Jack, although he wasn't scoring as much, he had 9 assists and 6 boards. Coming off the bench again, we have a great production by Isaiah Todd, who had 14 points and 6 boards, 0 assists. Now, this is one game where Dacian Nix played extremely well. Like I said before, he wasn't one of the top guys. People were kind of surprised by him opting out of college and going the Ignite route. But in this game against the Raptors, he scored 25 points, 6 assists, and 8 rebounds while shooting 8 for 15 and 2 for 4 from 3. So this is a game where Dacian Nix really established himself as he belongs in this on this elite team. Some of the notable names for the Raptors were Nick Stauskas, who played for the Michigan team with Xavier Thompson, I believe, or he was before them, but he played for Michigan. He had 23 points against Ignite. Malachi Flynn, he had 11. Gary Payton II had 15. So just some notable names against the G League Ignite. Um, Next, I'm going to be talking about the Ignite game versus the Iowa Wolves. So the Iowa Wolves are the G League affiliate of the Minnesota Timberwolves, if you can't tell by their name. But so the G League Ignite ended up beating the Iowa Wolves, who at the moment are actually 0-6 in the G League. But I'm not. So Kuminga actually struggled in this game. He only had 7 points, 7 rebounds, 4 assists, and 4 steals, but he only shot 3 for 13, including 0 for 5 from 3. Jalen Green had his average game, 22 points, 5 assists, 6 rebounds. And then Isaiah Todd struggled a little bit shooting the ball. He only had 6 points, 3 rebounds, and 1 assist, shooting 3 for 10. Dacian Nix also struggled a little bit. He only had 8 points, 4 assists, and 5 rebounds, shooting 3 for 9. Some of the more notable names on the Iowa Wolves are Alonzo Trier, who had 17. He played for the Knicks most recently. And Tyler Cook, who had 24. He played where I go to college, Iowa, as well as he was on the Cavaliers for a brief time in the NBA. And he also played for Canton Charge in the G League last year, I believe. Now, so after the Wolves game, they were sitting pretty at 4-0, and then they played the Erie Bayhawks. The Erie Bayhawks are the G League affiliate of the New Orleans Pelicans. So in the game versus the Erie Bayhawks, the G League Ignite struggled not only on the offensive end, but also the defensive end. They took their first loss of the season, 127-87. After the first quarter is actually 35-16, going the Erie Bayhawks way. Kuminga had 21 points, 10 rebounds, and 3 assists, but shooting 10 for 23, including 1 for 8 from the 3. Jalen Green had 13 points, 4 assists, and 4 rebounds, shooting 6 for 15, 1 for 6 from 3. Isaiah Todd had 9 points, 3 rebounds, 0 assists, shooting 3 for 7. We saw Principal Singh get his first minutes, but he had 0 points and 2 rebounds. Dacian Nix had 13, 11, and 5, shooting 5 for 13. But watching this game, you could tell they just weren't. The other team was extremely hot, and they struggled a little bit defensively. Some of the notable, listen to this. Their starting five had 8, 13, 17, 16, and 17. Two of their bench players had 21 and 16. So they were hot. Some of the notable names are Mari Spellman, Jared Utoff, Cassius Winston, and Jordan Bell, all who have G League and NBA experience. So after this game, they took their first loss. Then they went on to play the Westchester Knicks, who played on Thursday, February 18th. they played the Westchester Knicks, ended up losing 121 to 113. This game actually went to overtime. Kuminga had 11 points, 5 rebounds, and 3 assists, shooting 4 for 11, 2 for 5 from three. Um, Jalen Green, excuse me, had 15 points, 6 assists, and 7 rebounds. Isaiah Todd had 14 points, 7 rebounds, and 0 assists, shooting 5 for 12. Dacian Nix had 8 points, 7 rebounds, and 3 assists, shooting 3 for 9. So some of the notable names on the Knicks is Ignas Brdinkas, who played for the Michigan Wolverines a couple years back, and he had a great game, had 21 points. Some of the other notable names are Scal Labiziere and Miles Powell, as well as Jared Harper. So that was their most recent game, actually. Their next game is February 21st at 3 p.m. Eastern against the Greensboro Swarm, who are the G League affiliate of the Hornets. So, just a little, my opinion on this Ignite team is they are extremely fun to watch. I've watched every game except the two losses, actually. But obviously, Jalen Green is a stud. I predict him to be a top 3 pick, where I don't know. It'll depend on the team. Jonathan Kuminga is going to be a top 10 for sure. No doubt in my mind about that. But Isaiah Todd, he's going to be a steal. People are overlooking him. And Dacian Nix, I think all these guys will either get drafted or shortly picked up after the draft. So a little thought on this whole G League Ignite. I actually love it. I think it's only going to grow in popularity. I think these young talent are going to excel quicker in the NBA faster than guys like Cade Cunningham, Evan Mobley, and Jalen Suggs, because I think the NBA game is a lot faster, etc. And the G League guys are accustomed to that speed and strength of playing all these G League players, G League teams. While it's I really enjoy it. I think it's a great avenue, another avenue for high school elite basketball players, and I think it's just going to become more common because they're also getting paid to play. Which I mean, what 18 and 19-year-old would love to get played coming out of high school? So I think the G League did something great for not only the NBA or G League, but also just the basketball world in general. But it'll be interesting to see how they play the rest of the season and how that impacts their draft stock playing these G League guys. So be sure to tune in. They're a lot of fun to watch. I would have shown y'all highlights, but don't want to get the video removed from YouTube. So I'll actually drop the condensed game highlights in the link below. I'll have them game by game, like how I talked about them. But yeah, let me know what y'all think.